On December 31st, 2025, while most of the world was looking toward the new year, waiting for the countdown, the US government quietly dropped a document. It wasn't a press release. It wasn't a tweet. It was a refusal letter, and it might be the most terrifying piece of paper ever written in the history of Washington, D.C. The CIA has officially responded to the Freedom of Information Act request regarding the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas. And they didn't just say no. They used a specific, heavy, legal weapon known as the Glomar response. They stated officially and in writing that they can neither confirm nor deny that records of this object even exist, because the mere fact of their interest is now classified. Think about the weight of that for a second. We have been told for months that 3I Atlas is just a rock, a fading comet, a piece of ice and dust caught in the solar drift. So why did the CIA just invoke the National Security Act of 1947 to protect it? Since when is a comet a state secret? Since when does a piece of ice require the same level of classification as a nuclear launch code? I'll be honest. I've spent a lot of time staring into the void, trying to make sense of the signals we get from the deep darkness, but I never expected the most chilling signal to come from a bureaucrat in Langley, Virginia. This response changes everything. We are no longer talking about astronomy. We are no longer talking about science. We are talking about an active intelligence operation. In less than 6 months, 3I Atlas has gone from a scientific curiosity to a threat level that requires a full information blackout. Let's look at the document itself. Reference F2026-00231. The language is cold, precise, and terrifying. It cites Section 3.6a of Executive Order 13526. For those who don't spend their time reading legal codes, let me explain what that order does. It is the law used to protect sources and methods. It is the shield used to hide the identities of deep-cover spies operating in hostile nations. It is the lock used to secure the technical blueprints of our most advanced stealth bombers. And now today it is being used to protect a space rock. The letter explicitly states that revealing anything about this object could reasonably be expected to cause damage to the national security. Damage. That is a heavy word. A rock doesn't damage national security unless it is about to hit the Pentagon, or unless it isn't a rock. To understand why this is happening, you have to understand the history of the Glomar response. The CIA doesn't use this response lightly. It was invented in the 1970s for something very specific, Project Azorian. The CIA had built a massive ship to secretly recover a sunken Soviet nuclear submarine from the bottom of the ocean. When journalists started asking questions, the CIA needed a way to refuse to answer without admitting the submarine was there. So they invented the phrase, "We can neither confirm nor deny." It is a phrase born from the need to hide a recovered foreign vessel. And now, 50 years later, they are using the exact same phrase for 3I Atlas. Are they hiding a recovered vessel? Or are they hiding the fact that they are tracking one? This leads us to the sources and methods. The CIA protects its secrets because it doesn't want enemies to know how it gets information. If they were just using the Hubble Space Telescope, there would be no secret. Hubble is public. Anyone can download the data. But if the CIA is using something else, something classified, that changes the game completely. Theory number 1, the deep space sensors. It is an open secret in the intelligence community that the US has surveillance satellites that can look up, not just down. Satellites like the KH-11 Keyhole, these are billion-dollar optical platforms designed to read license plates from orbit. But if you turn them around, if you point them at an object approaching Earth, they act as high-resolution space telescopes that NASA doesn't have access to. If one of these classified platforms took a photo of 3I Atlas, and if that photo shows something artificial, if it shows a hull, if it shows structure, if it shows symmetry that nature cannot produce, then releasing that photo would reveal the capability of the satellite. So they bury the photo to save the satellite. They prioritize the weapon system over the scientific truth. Theory number 2, the signal. This is the darker option. The National Security Agency, the NSA, listens to everything. They monitor every frequency, every transmission, every whisper on the electromagnetic spectrum. Most of the time, they are listening for terrorists or foreign governments. But what if they heard something else? If 3i Atlas is emitting a signal, a structured transmission, a heartbeat that isn't random noise, and if the NSA intercepted it, then admitting the record exists confirms that we have intercepted alien communications. That isn't just a science story. That is the biggest geopolitical advantage in human history. The first nation to crack the code, the first nation to understand the message, wins the future. If there is a signal, of course they locked it down. They aren't hiding it from you to protect you. They are hiding it from China. They are hiding it from Russia. We are dealing with a silent arms race happening millions of miles away in the void. But while the lawyers are fighting in Washington, the object is still moving. And it is doing things that rocks simply shouldn't do. If you look at the physical evidence, the CIA's behavior starts to make a terrifying kind of sense. We aren't just talking about a bureaucratic overreaction. We are talking about a pattern of anomalies that point to something artificial. Let's look at the composition. Early spectral analysis, before the blackout, suggested a bizarrely high nickel content, almost no iron. In the natural world, in the asteroids we find in our solar system, iron and nickel usually come together. To find pure nickel or a high nickel alloy is incredibly rare. But in aerospace engineering, in the world of building things that need to survive heat and radiation, nickel superalloys are the gold standard. They are used in jet engines. They are used in heat shields. If this thing is made of refined metal, it's not a comet. It's a craft. Then there is the MAVEN incident. This is the piece of the puzzle that keeps me awake at night. The MAVEN probe was orbiting Mars. It is a scientific satellite designed to study the Martian atmosphere. But as 3i Atlas passed through the inner solar system, MAVEN was perfectly positioned. It had a front row seat. It was the only camera in the right place at the right time to get a close-up scan. And then, silence. NASA suddenly announced that they lost contact with the probe. It went into safe mode. The data feed cut out. The official explanation was a technical glitch, a computer reset. But the timing is perfect. Too perfect. Did the probe break by accident? Did the radiation from the object fry its sensors? Or was the data feed cut from the ground because MAVEN saw something we weren't supposed to see? Was the feed killed to prevent the image from hitting the public servers? We may never know, but the coincidence is heavy. And finally, there is the trajectory, the flight path. A normal comet is a slave to gravity. It falls toward the sun, it swings around, and it leaves. You can predict its path with a calculator. But 3i Atlas has shown subtle, non-gravitational accelerations, tiny pushes, deviations from the mathematical model. Mainstream scientists try to explain this as outgassing. They say gas jets are pushing it like a rocket. But we don't see the gas. We don't see the massive tails of water vapor that should be there to generate that kind of thrust. It is moving without a visible engine. It is correcting its course, and right now, it is aiming for a specific point in Jupiter's gravity well. It is heading for the Hill radius of the gas giant. That isn't a drift. That is a gravitational slingshot. That is a maneuver. This brings us back to the Glomar response. The government can classify files. They can redact emails. They can silence whistleblowers and intimidate scientists, but they cannot classify the sky. At least, not yet. Amateur astronomers are still watching. They are the wild card in this game. People like Dan Bartlett are capturing images from their backyards that defy the official narrative. They are seeing a tail that doesn't look like ice, sublimating in the sun. It looks tight, focused. It looks like a jet. An anomalous exhaust from a system we don't understand. The tension is building. On one side, you have the most powerful spy agency on Earth saying nothing to see here, but also, we can't talk about it. On the other side, you have a mountain of data screaming that we are not alone. This is a black swan event, the kind of discovery that breaks history into before and after. We are drifting alongside something that could rewrite our understanding of physics, of biology, of God. And our response as a species is being dictated by a legal department in Virginia. It is surreal, and it is dangerous. Because if 3i Atlas is a threat, silence doesn't protect us. It blinds us. If there is a reason to be afraid, we need to know. If there is a reason to hope, we need to know. The CIA's response to the FOIA request is a reminder that we live in a world where the truth is often considered a liability. They won't tell us what they know, but their refusal to speak is the loudest signal we have ever received. It implies that they know something worth hiding. It implies that the file exists. And if the file exists, then the object is not what they told us it was. A rock doesn't get a GLOMAR. A rock doesn't get a Section 3.6a classification. Something else does. So here is the reality of 2026. The wonder of discovery has been replaced by the paranoia of secrecy. We deserve to know. We deserve to know if we are being visited. We deserve to know if the universe is quiet because it is empty, or because someone is holding the microphone and refusing to let us hear. What do you think is hidden in those classified files? Is it a high-resolution photo of a metallic hull? Is it a recording of a signal? Or is it something even stranger? Let me know your theories in the comments, because it is in these conversations that we keep the search for truth alive. The CIA has drawn a line in the sand. They won't speak, but their silence is the loudest signal we have ever received. Keep watching the documents. Keep watching the sky, because the truth is out there, even if it is currently classified. If you want to stay on the edge of the void with us, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It helps us keep the light on in the darkness. If you feel like supporting our journey even further, you can become a member of the In Cosmos We Trust. Every bit of support helps us dig deeper into the mysteries they want to keep hidden. Until next time, keep looking up. In Cosmos We Trust.